Do you mean that the sprinting skill doesn't give me advantage when I'm standing still? Oh my god! I didn't knew that before I clicked on this video! No, this was a joke. We will look into this and it's surprising. Hello everyone and welcome to the Wolfside channel. Today with a very special topic, I mean, always special, the sprinting analysis video. And yeah, we are focusing alone on the sprinting skill. And we start with the first myth of the sprinting skill, that the sprinting skill is giving you speed advantage, which is not true. So I have the skill now on 100 and I'm running 400 and 419 and I'm having sprinting 100. Now I'm decreasing this to 90, we need this at 90 anyway to compare it with the sprinting skill when I have it on 8, because I have the sprinting automatically on 8 or on 9 because of the attribute points. So I'm reducing the skill to 90 and as you can see I run the same speed. This is also the same if you reduce the sprinting to 0. And if you maybe have also read the skill description, it doesn't say anything about speed. I don't know where this myth is come from, but it's busted. And yeah, I've tested all of this and I've also restarted the game because I wasn't sure if the skill is really ticking correctly. And now to compare all this with the same gear. I have this steel maul here as an example and I will carry this the whole operation. So we have sprinting 90. This is perfect. Then we compare it with sprinting 9 when I'm reducing the sprinting to 0. I can't reduce it to 0 because then I have 0 dexterity. That is why we are testing it from 90 to 0. So from 90 to 9, which is basically a 100 to 0. It also depends on how much dexterity or constitution you have, because then it's of course different. But let's now compare it. And I will start the comparison with the first frame I'm moving, and I will measure it by the exact recorded frames I have, so we can determine that. So we will have in the end a final margin of error of 1%, and it also depends on your dexterity, how much dexterity you have, because that also comes into play with your constitution and your maximum constitution, and this also determines a lot of other factors. So please don't compare the raw numbers I have with this Thursa here, please just compare the percentage numbers. And in this particular test, in how long can you run without the weapon drawn with the sprinting 100, or in our case the sprinting 90, to compare the percentages better. And yeah, I tested a lot of this stuff, and I also tested if you're standing still, if that makes an actual difference. And the spoiler is no, it doesn't make a difference. So if you have sprinting 100 and you're standing still, you don't have a benefit from that skill. At least that is what it looks like when you calculate in the 1% margin of error, or even a few percentages. So all in all, of course, it depends. And I know that every time when I'm making these videos, people don't believe in the stuff they see, but it's okay. Because a lot of times I'm even sitting here and I'm surprised. And yeah, I've made this on the live server because the last time I tested such stuff in the videos, people said you can't test this on the test realm because this is wrong. This is not the live server. It's fake data and stuff. This is a live server. So yeah, so let's run the same tests again with all the stuff. And the interesting thing in this is, in my personal opinion, is that 20% more stamina regain. Is it worth it? And yes, the skill is worth it if you are a melee player or frontline player or something like that. If you are a mounted player, then this skill is nearly useless, because 20% more runtime is not something that gives you huge advantages in some situations, but it could also be live or die in some situations. So 20% for 100 points seems okay. But let's look at the final results. And they are quite shocking, by the way. So when you're standing still, there is no difference, as you can see. But while you sprint, the difference is a lot. And when you're taking the 90 sprinting skill with the no weapon and compare it with the 0 sprinting skill with the no weapon, it's nearly at the 25% mark. And I'm very sure that Star Wars have calculated with 25%. So in the margin of error, I can say it's 25%. So it's 1/4 of the actual stamina that you're more or less getting as benefit if you decide to skill sprinting. And the interesting conclusion in this is, and as always, it comes down to your personal preference. I, for example, often farming risers and I'm often on my mount, but I also often visiting dungeons. The problem is in the dungeons, I'm already slow because I'm a Thursar. And I have decided for myself, I will try it out and I will drop my sprinting for a few weeks and I will try it out if I have a positive or negative impact from that. Because this can free me up 100 points that I can invest in another skill. So would be awesome if that works out. But I guess in competitive PvP or when I'm, for example, playing with my mates and I'm fighting a 5 versus 5, then I really need this skill as a foot warrior. Because if I wouldn't have this sprinting skill, I guess I would be the handicap of my group. As a Thursar frontliner without stamina, you're pretty, you're dead. But this is also the beauty of this game. You have the freedom to decide if that is something for you, if you really need the 25% more stamina or not. More stamina regain. It's not more stamina, it's more stamina regain. The good thing is you can decide. There's a voting in the description where you can vote if the sprinting skill impact is too low or too high or good as it is. The thing is with balance, it's a never-ending circle or cycle. It depends. Cycle or circle doesn't matter. I think it's a little bit sad that it's not speed. But it's also good that the sprinting skill is not speed related. The thing is, of course, more and more people won't read texts. And the problem is you can see here. Just for example, I know I'm 28, but even I'm thinking to myself, the skill description should be plus 25% on stamina regain. Then people would read this. It's one sentence. They would read this. They would understand the skill and they would directly know what it does without needing me on YouTube to explain this. And this is exactly the quality of life stuff people are talking about. These little things are all adding up to one big picture. But it's awesome that we finally know how the sprinting skill works. If you also want to know how other skills work, please leave your suggestion in the comments. Would be awesome, by the way. And special thanks to all the supporters, of course. Carmel, Paladin Life, Lukario, Rhonus, Paarthurnax, Cologne, Bulldog, and all the others, of course. And never forget to sprint hard. Party hard, of course. And see you all next time. Goodbye.